Are you ready to fall asleep with 100 interesting facts from forgotten things in 1950s America? Let's begin. 1. Roller washing machines. For over 20 years, roller washing machines dominated American laundries before automatic models became affordable. These contraptions featured two rubber rollers mounted above the tub that squeezed excess water from freshly washed clothes. Housewives fed wet garments through the wringer manually, watching carefully to avoid catching fingers or buttons in the mechanism. The process required constant attention and physical effort, making laundry day an exhausting full-day affair. Despite the labor intensity, these machines represented modern convenience compared to scrubbing clothes by hand on washboards. The distinctive sound of rollers squeezing water became synonymous with Monday mornings in countless households. Many machines featured protective guards that released pressure if something too thick passed through, though accidents still occurred frequently. The wringer's efficiency meant clothes dried faster on the line, saving time in an era without electric dryers. These machines often lasted decades with minimal maintenance, becoming family heirlooms passed between generations. Their disappearance marked a significant shift toward fully automated home appliances. 2. Toaster covers. Decorative toaster covers graced kitchen counters for approximately 15 years during the mid-century era. These quilted fabric accessories, often matching kitchen curtains or tablecloths, protected chrome toasters from dust and grease, while adding coordinated style to kitchen decor. Housewives took pride in their coordinated kitchen accessories, with toaster covers representing the attention to detail expected in homemaking. The covers typically featured handles or loops for easy removal during breakfast preparation. Popular patterns included gingham checks, fruit motifs, roosters, and cheerful florals that brightened morning routines. Some ambitious homemakers sewed their own covers, personalizing them with rickrack trim, embroidery, or applique designs. The practice reflected an era when small appliances remained visible countertop fixtures rather than being stored in cabinets. Keeping the toaster covered also prevented curious children from inserting objects into the slots unsupervised. As kitchen design evolved towards sleeker aesthetics and built-in storage, these charming covers gradually disappeared from countertops, becoming nostalgic reminders of detailed homemaking traditions. 3. Milk chutes, built into houses. For nearly 30 years, milk chutes served as essential architectural features in American homes. These small compartments, built directly into exterior walls, allowed milkmen to deliver fresh bottles without disturbing sleeping families during early morning routes. The ingenious design featured an exterior door accessible from outside and an interior door opening into the kitchen or mudroom. Insulated chutes kept milk cool during warmer months, though winter deliveries sometimes froze solid before retrieval. The rhythmic clinking of glass bottles being placed in chutes became an unmistakable soundtrack of suburban mornings. Families relied on this service, leaving empty bottles and notes requesting additional items like cream, butter, or eggs. The system represented remarkable trust between customers and delivery personnel, functioning smoothly in communities where everyone knew their milkman by name. Children often volunteered to retrieve the cold bottles, enjoying this small responsibility. As supermarkets expanded and refrigeration improved, home delivery declined, rendering these architectural features obsolete. Today, sealed-over milk chutes serve as historical curiosities, reminding us of simpler service-oriented times. 4. Shoe polishing kits by the fireplace. Shoe polishing kits remained essential household items for approximately 25 years, when proper appearance demanded immaculately maintained footwear. These wooden boxes or metal tins contained various colored polishes, brushes, buffing cloths, and sometimes a cast-iron shoe rest. Families gathered near the fireplace or in mudrooms for weekly shoe maintenance rituals, with fathers often teaching children proper polishing techniques. The distinctive smell of wax polish mingled with wood smoke created sensory memories that lasted lifetimes. Quality leather shoes represented significant investments, making regular maintenance economically sensible and socially necessary. Different brushes served specific purposes, applying polish, working it into leather, and achieving the final mirror shine through vigorous buffing. The satisfaction of transforming scuffed shoes into gleaming examples of personal pride taught valuable lessons about care and presentation. Sunday mornings often included shoe polishing sessions before church attendance, ensuring families looked their absolute best. As casual footwear gained acceptance and disposable fashion became normalized, these meticulous maintenance rituals faded. The disappearance of shoe polishing kits symbolizes broader cultural shifts toward convenience over craftsmanship. 5. TV antenna adjustment knobs. Television antenna adjustment knobs dominated living rooms for roughly 20 years before cable television eliminated reception struggles. These mechanisms controlled rooftop antennas, rotating them to capture signals from different broadcast towers. Families developed elaborate protocols involving one person at the television and another adjusting the antenna, communicating through shouted instructions or walkie-talkies. The quest for clear reception often interrupted favorite programs, with everyone groaning when ghostly double images appeared or snow obscured the picture. Strategic antenna positioning became neighborhood expertise, with some households achieving legendary reception clarity. Weather conditions significantly affected signal quality, making some evenings frustrating battles against atmospheric interference. Children learned patience waiting while parents fine-tuned antenna positions, hoping to catch the evening movie or important sports broadcast. The knobs themselves, often located near television sets, became worn from constant adjustment, their mechanisms eventually loosening with age. Some families invested in elaborate rotor systems with directional indicators, treating antenna adjustment as serious technical business. When cable television arrived, eliminating these reception challenges, many celebrated the newfound reliability, while others missed the participatory nature of broadcast television. 6. Hand-cranked ice crushers. Hand-cranked ice crushers served households faithfully for approximately 20 years before electric models and automatic refrigerator ice makers arrived. These cast-iron or heavy-duty plastic devices clamped onto countertops, featuring a hopper for ice cubes and a hand crank that pulverized ice into perfect snow-like consistency. Summer afternoons featured the distinctive grinding sound as someone cranked vigorously, producing crushed ice for lemonade, cocktails, or snow cones. Children begged for turns operating the crusher, finding satisfaction in the mechanical process and the resulting icy reward. The physical effort required added appreciation for cold beverages on sweltering days without air conditioning. Some models featured adjustable mechanisms producing various ice textures, from coarse chips to fine powder, allowing customization for different drinks and desserts. Maintenance involved occasionally sharpening or replacing crushing blades, though quality models lasted for decades. The ritual of ice crushing often accompanied backyard barbecues and neighborhood gatherings, becoming associated with warm weather hospitality. As automatic ice makers became standard refrigerator features, these manual devices disappeared from kitchen counters. Their absence represents the gradual elimination of satisfying mechanical processes in favor of effortless automation. 7. Built-in ashtrays in every room. Built-in ashtrays appeared throughout homes for nearly 30 years, when smoking was considered sophisticated rather than hazardous. Architects designed houses with decorative ashtrays incorporated into walls, furniture armrests, and coffee tables, assuming smoking would occur everywhere constantly. Living rooms featured elegant standing ashtrays beside every chair, while bedrooms included bedside versions for nighttime cigarettes. Even bathrooms contained small ashtrays, acknowledging smoking's presence in every aspect of daily life. The fixtures ranged from simple functional designs to elaborate artistic statements in brass, ceramic, or colored glass. Emptying and cleaning these numerous ashtrays became routine housekeeping tasks, with fastidious homemakers ensuring fresh ashtrays welcomed guests. The ubiquity of smoking accessories reflected cultural norms, where offering cigarettes demonstrated hospitality and refusing appeared antisocial. Advertisements portrayed smoking as glamorous, sophisticated, and completely safe, encouraging installation of permanent smoking infrastructure. As medical evidence revealed, smoking's dangers and social attitudes shifted dramatically. These built-in ashtrays became embarrassing reminders of past ignorance. Homeowners removed or covered them during renovations, erasing this once essential architectural feature from domestic spaces. 8. Percolator coffee makers on the stovetop. Stovetop percolator coffee makers dominated kitchens for approximately 25 years, producing the distinctive burbling sound that signaled morning's arrival. These aluminum or stainless steel pots forced boiling water repeatedly through ground coffee, creating progressively stronger brews. The transparent glass knob atop each percolator allowed monitoring the brewing process, with experienced users judging coffee strength by the liquid's darkening color. The aromatic experience of percolating coffee filled entire houses, providing olfactory alarm clocks more pleasant than any mechanical buzzer. Families developed precise preferences regarding brewing time, with debates about optimal strength becoming household traditions. The process required attention, as over-percolation produced bitter, unpleasant coffee that ruined breakfast. Cleaning percolators involved disassembling multiple parts, scrubbing coffee residue from the basket and stem, though many homemakers took pride in maintaining spotless equipment. The ritual of preparing morning coffee became meditative practice, offering quiet moments before household chaos began. As automatic drip coffee makers promised convenience and supposedly superior flavor, percolators disappeared from stovetops. Their absence eliminated a sensory experience and morning ritual that had defined domestic life for generations. 9. Rotary clotheslines in the backyard. Rotary clotheslines graced backyards for over 20 years, offering efficient outdoor drying that saved energy and infused laundry with fresh air fragrance. These umbrella-like structures featured multiple lines radiating from a central pole, maximizing drying space while requiring minimal yard area. Their design allowed rotation, bringing different sections within easy reach without repositioning laundry baskets. Monday mornings featured neighborhoods of spinning clotheslines, displaying colorful laundry like flags announcing domestic productivity. The satisfaction of hanging wet clothes transformed into dry, sun-bleached linens represented tangible accomplishment. Weather watching became essential, as unexpected rain meant rushing outside to rescue nearly dry laundry. Some communities developed unwritten rules about clothesline aesthetics, with particular attention to hanging underwear discreetly and arranging items attractively. Children played among clothesline forests, occasionally running into hanging sheets during backyard games. The physical work of carrying heavy wet laundry baskets and reaching to pin items provided exercise, incorporated naturally into household routines. As electric dryers became affordable and homeowners associations banned clotheslines as unsightly, these practical fixtures disappeared, taking with them sustainable practices and outdoor exercise. 10. Folding metal TV trays. Folding metal TV trays revolutionized casual dining for approximately 20 years when television viewing reshaped mealtime traditions. These portable tables featured colorful vinyl tops depicting scenic landscapes, floral patterns, or modern abstract designs, supported by crossed metal legs that collapsed for storage. Families stored sets of 4 matching trays in decorative racks, ready for deployment when dinner and favorite programs coincided. The ritual of setting up TV trays signaled permission to eat outside the formal dining room, creating relaxed family bonding over shared entertainment. The distinctive scraping sound of trays being positioned became associated with evening routines and weekend relaxation. Designs ranged from plain utilitarian models to elaborate versions with cup holders and raised edges preventing spills. The trays' lightweight construction made them popular for picnics, balcony dining, and anywhere informal eating occurred. Children appreciated the individual table concept, feeling grown up with personal dining spaces. Cleaning vinyl surfaces required only quick wipes, appealing to busy homemakers seeking convenience. As formal dining declined further and coffee tables became standard, these once essential items gradually disappeared into garage storage and estate sales. Meanwhile, in the family garage, 11. Erector sets with real metal tools. Erector sets captivated children for over 30 years, offering genuine construction experiences with real metal components and tools. These comprehensive kits contained steel girders, plates, wheels, gears, and actual nuts and bolts, along with miniature wrenches and screwdrivers for assembly. Unlike modern plastic toys, erector sets taught mechanical principles through hands-on engineering, requiring patience, planning, and problem-solving skills. The satisfying process of following instruction manuals to build bridges, cranes, and vehicles provided educational entertainment without screens or batteries. Advanced sets included electric motors that brought creations to life, demonstrating power transmission and mechanical advantage. The metallic smell of steel parts and the tactile satisfaction of tightening real nuts became sensory memories lasting lifetimes. Parents appreciated toys that developed practical skills while keeping children engaged for hours. Sets were designed for longevity, with parts interchangeable across different models and replacement components available by mail order. As safety concerns increased and manufacturing shifted toward cheaper plastic alternatives, these authentic metal construction sets disappeared from toy stores. Their absence represents the loss of toys that genuinely prepared children for understanding mechanical systems and engineering principles through direct experience. 12. Pedal cars for kids. Pedal-powered miniature automobiles thrilled children for approximately 25 years, representing scaled-down versions of parents' actual vehicles. These substantial metal toys featured authentic details, including chrome bumpers, working headlights, and realistic paint jobs mimicking popular car models. Children developed leg strength and coordination while cruising sidewalks and driveways in their personal vehicles, experiencing independence within safe boundaries. The car's solid construction meant they withstood years of enthusiastic use, often serving multiple siblings before showing significant wear. Neighborhood children established hierarchies based on pedal car models, with convertibles and sports car replicas commanding particular prestige. Some elaborate versions included horns, opening trunks, and adjustable seats, enhancing the realistic driving experience. Parents appreciated toys that encouraged outdoor exercise and imaginative play rather than passive entertainment. The substantial weight and quality materials made these expensive purchases, often serving as major birthday or Christmas gifts. Photographs of children in their pedal cars became treasured family memories, capturing innocent joy and mid-century childhood aesthetics. As plastic replaced metal and toy preferences shifted toward action figures and electronic games, these substantial vehicles disappeared from childhood landscapes. 13. Plastic creepy crawlers toy kits. Creepy crawlers dominated playrooms for roughly 15 years, offering children the thrilling ability to manufacture their own rubber insects. These kits included an electric heating device called the Thing Maker, metal molds shaped like spiders and worms, and bottles of colorful liquid plastic compound called plastigoop. The process involved carefully pouring goop into heated molds, waiting for vulcanization to occur, then peeling out completed creatures. The distinctive chemical smell of heating plastic permeated homes, becoming instantly recognizable to anyone who owned the toy. Children delighted in creating grotesque insects to terrify siblings and decorate rooms, exercising creativity through color combinations and assembly variations. The heating element posed genuine burn risks, teaching careful handling and respect for hot surfaces in an era less concerned with extensive safety features. Trading completed creepy crawlers with friends created elementary economies and social interactions. Parents tolerated the mess and smell, appreciating toys that kept children engaged in creative projects. As safety standards tightened and concerns about chemical exposure increased, these beloved kits gradually disappeared from toy stores, taking with them a uniquely hands-on creative experience. 14. Hula hoops and the 1958 craze. Hula hoops exploded across America for approximately 10 years following their 1958 introduction, creating an unprecedented toy phenomenon. These simple plastic rings sparked nationwide obsession, with children and adults alike mastering the hip-swiveling technique required to keep hoops spinning. The craze transcended age, gender, and social boundaries, with everyone from celebrities to grandparents joining the fun. Neighborhoods echoed with the distinctive swishing sound of rotating hoops and laughter of determined practitioners. Schools held competitions, television shows featured demonstrations, and manufacturers struggled to meet overwhelming demand. The exercise benefits became apparent as participants discovered the exhausting workout disguised as play. Some enthusiasts developed elaborate tricks, spinning multiple hoops simultaneously on various body parts, creating impromptu street performances. The fad's intensity burned brightly but briefly, with peak enthusiasm lasting roughly 18 months before becoming just another available toy. Psychologists studied the phenomenon, attempting to understand what made these simple tubes so irresistibly appealing. As the craze subsided, millions of hoops ended up forgotten in garages and basements, though periodic revivals occurred. The hula hoop's legacy demonstrates how simple concepts can capture collective imagination. 15. Vacuum tube radios. Vacuum tube radios dominated living rooms for over 20 years before transistor technology revolutionized electronics. These substantial wooden cabinets housed glowing tubes that converted radio waves into sound, requiring several minutes warm-up time before broadcasting began. The ritual of turning on radios and waiting for tubes to heat created anticipation for evening entertainment programs. Families gathered around these furniture-sized radios for news, music, drama series, and comedy shows, making radio listening a communal experience. The warm glow visible through ventilation slots created ambiance during evening programs, while the distinctive smell of warming electronics became associated with entertainment. Tube replacement represented routine maintenance, with dedicated testers available at hardware stores helping diagnose which tubes needed changing. The substantial construction and quality components meant many radios lasted decades, becoming treasured family possessions. Radio repair shops thrived, staffed by technicians who understood complex circuitry and could restore seemingly dead units. As portable transistor radios offered convenience and television claimed evening attention, these majestic furniture pieces lost prominence. Their disappearance marked the end of radio as centerpiece furniture and communal entertainment source, transforming it into background accompaniment. 16. Wind-up alarm clocks with bells. Wind-up alarm clocks faithfully awakened households for approximately 30 years before electric and digital models offered supposed improvements. These mechanical marvels featured twin bells atop the casing and a hammer that rang them vigorously, producing alarm sounds impossible to ignore. The nightly ritual of winding the clock ensured tomorrow's wake-up call, while the distinctive ticking provided ambient nighttime sound many found comforting. The loud mechanical ringing startled sleepers effectively, requiring physical effort to silence by pressing the top button or turning off the alarm switch. Unlike modern alarms with snooze functions, these clocks demanded decisive action, making oversleeping more difficult. The luminous hands and numbers, painted with radium-based compounds, glowed softly in darkness, allowing nighttime time-checking without electricity. Quality clocks ran accurately for days on single windings, though most people wound them nightly from habit. The satisfying mechanical action of winding the mainspring connected users to the clockwork mechanism in ways modern digital clocks cannot replicate. Children learned time-telling on these analog faces, developing intuitive understanding of time's passage through moving hands. As electric and battery-powered alarms promised freedom from winding, these reliable mechanical devices disappeared from nightstands. 17. Cap guns and Western-themed toys. Cap guns dominated toy boxes for over 20 years during television Western's golden age, allowing children to emulate cowboy heroes. These die-cast metal replicas of famous revolvers produced satisfying cracks and gunpowder smells when firing rolls of paper caps. Neighborhood streets became Wild West battlegrounds as children staged elaborate shootouts, developing imaginative narratives inspired by television programs. The caps' distinctive sulfur smell and small smoke puffs added authentic atmosphere to pretend gunfights. Some elaborate models featured realistic loading mechanisms, spinning cylinders, and holsters that completed the cowboy costume. Parents accepted toy guns as wholesome play, seeing no connection between pretend shooting and actual violence in an era before such concerns became prominent. The toys taught manual dexterity, as children learned to load cap rolls correctly and handle mechanical actions. Trading cap gun models and comparing firing volumes became serious playground business. As television westerns declined in popularity and concerns about toy weapons increased, these once ubiquitous toys gradually disappeared from toy stores. Their absence reflects dramatic shifts in parenting philosophy, acceptable play themes, and cultural attitudes toward depicting violence in children's entertainment. 18. Home shoeshine kits. Home shoeshine kits remained essential household items for roughly 25 years, when maintaining polished shoes demonstrated personal standards and respect. These complete kits contained various colored polishes, multiple brushes, buffing cloths, and sometimes specialized cleaning solutions for different leather types. Families established regular shoe maintenance schedules, often dedicating Sunday evenings to ensuring everyone had presentable footwear for the week ahead. Fathers typically performed this task, teaching children proper techniques while explaining the importance of presenting oneself well. The meditative quality of polishing shoes provided quiet time for reflection or family conversation during the repetitive buffing motions. Quality leather shoes represented significant investments, making regular maintenance economically sensible and extending footwear life considerably. The transformation from scuffed to gleaming shoes offered tangible satisfaction and visible results from dedicated effort. Some kits included shoe trees, edge dressing, and suede brushes, representing comprehensive footwear care systems. As casual dress codes expanded and disposable fashion became normalized, these maintenance rituals seemed increasingly old-fashioned. The disappearance of shoeshine kits from homes symbolizes broader cultural shifts, away from formality, craftsmanship, and the idea that possessions deserve careful maintenance. 19. Metal lunchboxes with thermos flasks. Metal lunchboxes dominated school cafeterias for approximately 20 years, featuring colorful lithograph designs depicting popular television shows, cartoon characters, and superheroes. These sturdy steel boxes withstood years of daily use, protecting sandwiches and snacks during bus rides and playground roughhousing. The matching glass-lined thermos flasks fit precisely inside, keeping milk cold or soup hot until lunchtime. The distinctive metallic sound of opening clasps and the aromatic experience of unpacking homemade lunches created sensory memories lasting lifetimes. Children developed strong attachments to lunchboxes, choosing designs reflecting favorite characters and interests, while trading and comparing designs created social dynamics. The substantial construction meant lunchboxes occasionally served as defensive weapons during playground conflicts or tools for carrying non-food items. Parents packed lunches with care, including handwritten notes that children discovered midday. The thermos represented particular vulnerability, with broken glass liners creating shattered disappointment. As concerns about metal lunchboxes as potential weapons emerged, and plastic alternatives offered lighter weight and cheaper production, these iconic items disappeared from schools. Their replacement with disposable paper bags and plastic boxes eliminated reusable, durable products that served children throughout their entire elementary education. 20. Silly putty in egg-shaped containers. Silly putty entertained children for over 20 years, offering unique tactile experiences in distinctive plastic eggs. This strange silicone polymer bounced like rubber, stretched like taffy, broke cleanly when pulled quickly, and lifted printed images from newspaper comics. The unusual properties fascinated children and adults alike, providing endless experimentation opportunities without instructions or rules. The satisfying feeling of manipulating the putty, combined with surprising behaviors contradicting normal material expectations, created addictive play experiences. Children discovered countless applications, bouncing it high, creating impressions of coins and textured surfaces, making farting sounds against surfaces, and attempting to form lasting sculptures despite the material's tendency to flow slowly. The egg-shaped container became iconic packaging, making silly putty instantly recognizable and convenient for portability. Originally developed as potential rubber substitute during World War II, the material found unexpected success as toy after failing practical applications. Parents appreciated mess-free entertainment that exercised creativity without electronic components. The putty's tendency to pick up lint and eventually dry out created planned obsolescence before that term existed. While silly putty remains available today, its cultural significance and universal presence in mid-century childhoods has diminished considerably. Let's move to fashion now. Nostalgic items from the 1950's. Continued. 21. Garter belts and stocking fasteners. For approximately 25 years, garter belts remained essential undergarments before pantyhose revolutionized women's hosiery. These elastic belts featured metal or plastic clips that fastened delicate nylon stockings, requiring careful adjustment to ensure seams stayed straight. Women developed morning routines, perfecting stocking alignment, knowing crooked seams would draw disapproving glances. The contraptions often proved uncomfortable during extended wear, with clips digging into thighs and garters visible through fitted skirts. Despite discomfort, they represented necessary formality for respectable women. The delicate balancing act of maintaining modesty while adjusting stockings throughout the day became accepted feminine struggle. As seamless pantyhose offered convenience and eliminated fasteners entirely, these complicated undergarments quickly disappeared from lingerie drawers. 22. Men's fedora hats as daily wear. Men wore fedora hats religiously for over 30 years, considering hatlessness outdoors socially unacceptable and disrespectful. These felt or wool hats completed every gentleman's outfit, with styles indicating social status and personality. Hat etiquette required complex rules about when to wear, remove, or tip hats in various social situations. Specialized hat shops fitted customers precisely, steaming and shaping brims to individual preferences. Men developed distinctive wearing angles that became personal signatures. Hat check services thrived in restaurants and theaters, managing hundreds of nearly identical hats. President Kennedy's preference for going hatless helped accelerate the fedora's decline, suddenly making bare heads fashionable rather than improper, effectively ending decades of mandatory millinery tradition practically overnight. 23. Poodle skirts with crinoline layers. Poodle skirts dominated teenage fashion for roughly 10 years, becoming iconic symbols of 50s youth culture. These felt circle skirts featured appliqued poodle designs, often with rhinestone embellishments and leather leash details. The dramatic fullness required multiple crinoline petticoats, creating bell shapes perfect for twirling during sock hops. Girls spent hours selecting coordinating sweaters and saddle shoes to complete the look. The substantial fabric volume made sitting gracefully challenging, requiring careful arrangement to avoid inappropriate exposure. Creating custom appliques allowed personal expression within the trend's constraints. The skirt's association with innocent teenage romance and rock and roll dancing captured a specific cultural moment. As fashion shifted towards sleeker silhouettes, these voluminous skirts quickly appeared dated and childish. 24. Plastic rain bonnet fold-ups. Plastic rain bonnets protected hairstyles for approximately 20 years, when weekly salon visits made unexpected rain catastrophic. These accordion-folded squares tucked into purses, unfolding into protective headwear securing under the chin. Women considered them essential accessories, deploying them instantly when clouds threatened expensive hairdos. The distinctive crinkling sound announced rain preparations, while condensation often defeated the preservation purpose. Available in clear plastic or colors matching outfits, they represented practical fashion accessories. The tight elastic edges left unflattering marks on foreheads and necks. Despite awkward appearance, protecting teased and sprayed hairstyles justified the sacrifice. As wash-and-wear hairstyles and improved weather forecasting reduced anxiety about sudden rain, these ubiquitous accessories disappeared from handbags completely. 25. Bullet bras and cone shaping. Bullet bras dominated lingerie drawers for roughly 15 years, creating the distinctive pointed silhouette considered glamorous and fashionable. These structured undergarments featured circular stitching and rigid cups that forced breasts into exaggerated cone shapes. The engineering involved heavy-duty fabrics, multiple seams, and sometimes spiral stitching to maintain the aggressive projection. Sweaters and fitted blouses emphasized rather than concealed this artificial shaping. Hollywood stars popularized the look, making the unnatural silhouette aspirational. The contraptions often proved uncomfortable during extended wear, with underwires and stiff fabric chafing sensitive skin. Despite discomfort, women accepted this as necessary for fashionable appearance. As natural shapes and softer silhouettes gained favor, these architectural undergarments quickly disappeared from stores and drawers. 26. Sock garters for men. Men's sock garters served essential purposes for approximately 25 years before elastic technology improved significantly. These elastic bands with metal clips fastened around calves, preventing dress socks from slouching into shoes. Proper gentlemen considered visible sock skin between trouser cuffs and shoes unacceptable, making garters necessary accessories. The devices left circular indentations on legs and sometimes restricted circulation during extended wear. Despite discomfort, maintaining pulled-up socks demonstrated attention to proper grooming. Some men developed permanent marks from decades of daily garter wear. The accessories came in various colors, matching sock shades, showing manufacturers' attention to coordinated details. As sock manufacturing incorporated better elastic and longer lengths became standard, these once essential accessories disappeared from men's dressing routines entirely. 27. Clip-on bow ties for boys. Clip-on bow ties simplified formal dressing for boys throughout approximately 20 years, when childhood formality required proper neckwear for church, photographs, and special occasions. These pre-tied accessories attached to shirt collars with simple metal clips, eliminating tying skills requirements. Parents appreciated the convenience, while children tolerated the uncomfortable neck restrictions these accessories imposed. The spring-loaded clips occasionally pinched neck skin, causing tears before important events. Various colors and patterns allowed coordination with holiday outfits and seasonal occasions. School photographs immortalized countless boys in these uniform accessories, creating remarkably similar portraits across different families. As casual dress codes expanded and children's formal wear declined dramatically, these convenient accessories disappeared from boys' wardrobes completely. 28. Women's white gloves for shopping. White gloves represented essential accessories for respectable women throughout approximately 20 years, when bare hands appeared inappropriately informal for public appearances. Department stores, churches, and social events required proper glove etiquette, with women carrying multiple pairs for different occasions. The gloves quickly showed dirt, requiring frequent cleaning and replacement to maintain pristine appearance. Putting on and removing gloves gracefully required practice and attention to proper technique. Women learned complex rules about when gloves could be removed for dining, greeting, and various social situations. The accessories made handling money, packages, and daily tasks awkward, yet social expectations demanded their use. As women entered workplaces requiring practical functionality, impractical white gloves disappeared from daily wardrobes almost overnight. 29. Sweater clips and twin sets. Sweater clips adorned cardigans for roughly 15 years. securing draped sweaters elegantly across shoulders while preventing slippage. These decorative chains featured clips at each end, often embellished with pearls, rhinestones, or metallic designs. The twin set concept paired matching cardigans with shell tops, creating coordinated outfits considered sophisticated and polished. Women collected multiple clips coordinating with different outfits and occasions. The accessories allowed wearing sweaters fashionably without committing to full buttoning. Proper placement required careful consideration of chain length and clip positioning. The look epitomized 50s feminine grace and attention to coordinated details. As casual separates replaced matching sets, these dainty accessories lost relevance and disappeared from jewelry boxes entirely. 30. House dresses with aprons. House dresses served as standard daytime attire for homemakers throughout approximately 25 years, when staying home required appropriate modest clothing. These cotton print dresses featured simple designs, short sleeves, and practical pockets for carrying cleaning supplies and miscellaneous items. Coordinating aprons protected dresses during cooking and heavy housework, creating layered domestic uniforms. Women changed from nightclothes into house dresses immediately upon rising, considering it improper to remain in sleepwear past breakfast. The dresses allowed respectable appearance for unexpected visitors while remaining comfortable for physical housework. Various prints and styles provided personality within the utilitarian category. As women entered workforces and casual home attire became acceptable, these distinctive garments disappeared from daily wardrobes, marking significant cultural shifts. Now, a look at food that's disappeared. 31. TV dinners in aluminum trays. TV dinners revolutionized American eating for over 20 years, offering complete frozen meals in compartmented aluminum trays requiring only oven heating. These convenient dinners featured meat, vegetables, and dessert in separate sections, providing balanced meals without cooking effort. Families gathered around television sets with individual trays on folding tables, marking dramatic departure from formal dining traditions. The distinctive foil trays conducted heat efficiently, while creating environmental waste before recycling consciousness emerged. Popular varieties included Salisbury steak, fried chicken, and turkey with all trimmings, mimicking traditional home cooking. The meals represented modern convenience and liberation from extensive meal preparation, particularly appealing to working mothers and busy families seeking efficiency. 32. Bonomo Turkish Taffy. Bonomo Turkish Taffy delighted candy lovers for approximately 30 years, with its unique texture requiring smashing before eating. These flat bars came wrapped in colorful wax paper, featuring flavors like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and banana. The distinctive consumption method involved slamming the bar against hard surfaces, shattering it into irregular shards perfect for extended sucking. Children loved the interactive experience and the satisfying crash of breaking candy. The chewy texture provided long-lasting enjoyment, making the affordable treat economically appealing. Manufacturing required specific temperature control, creating the signature texture. As candy preferences shifted toward chocolate bars and concerns about dental health increased, this unique confection disappeared from stores, leaving only nostalgic memories. 33. Fizzies Drink Tablets. Fizzies drink tablets created instant-flavored beverages for roughly 15 years, dropping into water glasses and fizzing wildly while dissolving. These compressed tablets came in fruit flavors, transforming plain water into sweet, carbonated drinks without requiring bottles or mixing powders. Children delighted in watching the vigorous fizzing reaction and the color transformation as tablets dissolved. The convenience appealed to mothers seeking alternatives to expensive sodas, while the novelty entertained children. Each tablet supposedly flavored 6 ounces perfectly, though experimentation with multiple tablets created super-concentrated concoctions. Concerns about artificial sweeteners and ingredients eventually halted production, despite the product's popularity and innovative concept, ending this unique beverage experience completely. 34. Chiffon margarine with talking tubs. Chiffon margarine dominated refrigerators for approximately 20 years. Famous for television commercials featuring talking margarine tubs with memorable jingles. The brand emphasized spreadability and buttery flavor, while costing less than real butter. Clever marketing created brand loyalty through catchy songs children memorized and sang constantly. The product represented post-war convenience foods, gaining acceptance despite traditional cooks' skepticism about butter substitutes. Bright packaging and consistent quality made chiffon a household staple during the brand's peak popularity. As margarine lost favor due to trans fat concerns and butter regained popularity, chiffon disappeared from stores, though the advertising jingles remained embedded in boomer memories forever. 35. Mapo Instant Hot Cereal ads. Mapo Instant Hot Cereal advertised extensively for over 20 years, featuring memorable commercials with a child refusing to eat until told it was Mapo. The maple-flavored instant oatmeal provided quick hot breakfast, requiring only boiling water, appealing to busy morning schedules. The distinctive advertising campaign created cultural catchphrases repeated endlessly in households and playgrounds nationwide. Children genuinely enjoyed the sweet maple flavor, making breakfast battles easier for frustrated parents. The instant preparation represented modern convenience, eliminating lengthy stovetop cooking traditional oatmeal required. As breakfast preferences shifted toward cold cereals and concerns about sugar content increased, Mapo's popularity declined significantly, eventually disappearing from most supermarket shelves entirely. 36. Beeman's and Clove Chewing Gum. Beeman's and Clove chewing gums satisfied peculiar flavor preferences for over 30 years before mainstream mint flavors dominated the market completely. Beeman's featured pepsin enzyme supposedly aiding digestion, marketed with mild peppermint flavor appealing to particular tastes. Clove gum offered intense medicinal flavor, reminiscent of dental offices, creating devoted following among adventurous chewers. These unusual flavors represented an era when variety meant exploring distinctive tastes rather than subtle variations of mint. The gums came in traditional stick form, with colorful wrappers collectors saved and traded. As chewing gum consolidated into major brands emphasizing conventional flavors, these unique options disappeared from checkout displays, occasionally returning as specialty nostalgia items for older consumers seeking childhood flavor memories. 37. Space Food Sticks. Space Food Sticks capitalized on space race enthusiasm for roughly 10 years, offering cube-shaped astronaut food in various flavors including chocolate, peanut butter, and caramel. These nutritionally fortified snacks came individually wrapped, marketed as futuristic food technology developed for space exploration. Children begged parents for these expensive treats, excited to eat like astronauts orbiting Earth. The dense, chewy texture and intense sweetness provided substantial energy in compact form. Television advertising emphasized space program connections, though actual astronaut food differed significantly from commercial products. The treats represented peak space-age optimism, when anything associated with NASA seemed impossibly cool and futuristic. As space program enthusiasm waned, these novelty snacks disappeared from stores completely. 38. Jell-O salad recipes with vegetables. Jell-O salads incorporating vegetables thrived for approximately 20 years as popular potluck and holiday dishes, despite questionable flavor combinations. These molded creations suspended carrots, celery, cabbage, and sometimes seafood in sweet gelatin, creating dishes that confused modern palates. Elaborate molds shaped salads into architectural presentations displayed prominently on dinner tables. Homemakers competed, creating increasingly complex gelatin masterpieces, consulting specialty cookbooks devoted entirely to molded salad recipes. The dishes represented modern convenience using packaged products, while demonstrating culinary creativity and presentation skills. The combination of sweet gelatin with savory ingredients reflected era's adventurous approach to convenience foods. As tastes evolved toward fresher, simpler preparations, these elaborate creations disappeared from tables almost entirely. 39. Royal Crown Cola bottles. Royal Crown Cola competed seriously with Coca-Cola and Pepsi for over 20 years, offering distinctive flavor in returnable glass bottles delivered to homes and stores. The brand innovated with diet soda and caffeine-free options before competitors, briefly capturing significant market share. The distinctive bottle shapes and red and blue labeling created strong brand recognition throughout the South particularly. Families developed fierce brand loyalties, with arguments about cola superiority rivaling sports team debates. As national brands consolidated distribution and marketing budgets overwhelmed smaller competitors, RC Cola's prominence declined dramatically. While technically still available regionally, the brand's cultural significance and widespread availability disappeared, becoming nostalgic curiosity rather than serious competitor. 40. Drive-in dairy bars with car hops. Drive-in dairy bars flourished for approximately 25 years, offering curb service where car hops delivered food and beverages directly to parked vehicles. These establishments featured covered parking stalls with intercoms for ordering milkshakes, burgers, and fries without leaving cars. Car hops, often teenage girls in matching uniforms and roller skates, navigated crowded lots, delivering orders on window-mounted trays. The venues became crucial, teenage social centers, where young people cruised, flirted, and displayed customized automobiles. The combination of novelty, convenience, and social opportunity made drive-ins immensely popular across suburban America. As fast food chains introduced drive-through windows offering greater efficiency, these social institutions disappeared, eliminating communal gathering spaces and nostalgic car hop service forever. Meanwhile, in living rooms across America, nostalgic items from the 1950's continued. 41. Console record players with wood cabinets. Console record players dominated living rooms for approximately 25 years, as substantial furniture pieces combining audio equipment with decorative cabinetry. These elaborate units featured built-in speakers, amplifiers, and turntables housed within beautiful hardwood cabinets matching other furniture. Families gathered around consoles for evening entertainment, carefully handling vinyl records while adjusting tone and volume controls. The furniture served dual purposes, as both functional music systems and display surfaces for photographs and decorative items. Quality consoles represented significant investments, often purchased on payment plans and expected to last decades. The warm, rich sound produced through large speakers created immersive listening experiences impossible with portable devices. As compact stereo systems offered superior sound in smaller packages, these massive furniture pieces disappeared from homes. 42. Reel-to-reel tape players. Reel-to-reel tape players captivated audio enthusiasts for over 20 years, offering superior sound quality and recording capabilities before cassette tapes simplified the format. These complex machines required threading tape manually through various guides and heads, demanding patience and careful handling. Audiophiles appreciated the exceptional fidelity possible with wider tape and faster speeds, creating recordings rivaling commercial releases. The process of recording family events, radio programs, and copied music created personal audio libraries carefully catalogued and stored. The visible spinning reels provided satisfying visual feedback, making playback feel more engaging than hidden cassette mechanisms. Operating the machines required genuine skill, with users learning proper tension, adjustment, and splice techniques. As convenient cassette players offered adequate quality with simpler operation, these sophisticated devices disappeared. 43. Family radio dramas. Before TV took over, radio dramas entertained families for approximately 30 years before television programming eliminated the medium's dominance completely. Households gathered around radio sets nightly, listening intently to serialized adventures, mysteries, comedies, and westerns. The purely audio format engaged imaginations differently than visual media, with listeners creating mental images of characters and settings. Popular programs generated national conversations, with millions tuning in simultaneously for cliffhanger episodes. Advertising jingles and sponsored content became cultural touchstones repeated and memorized across generations. The ritual of family radio time created structured evening routines and shared experiences impossible to replicate later. Children developed listening skills and imaginative capacity through regular audio storytelling. When television offered visual entertainment, radio drama disappeared almost overnight from networks. 44. Viewmaster stereoscope reels. Viewmaster reels delighted children and adults for over 30 years, offering three-dimensional photographic experiences through distinctive red viewers. These circular reels contain tiny paired images, creating convincing depth when viewed through the stereoscope's lenses. Travel destinations, cartoon characters, and educational subjects became immersive experiences through the simple optical technology. The satisfying click of advancing reels and the magical appearance of dimensional scenes created addictive viewing experiences. Families collected reels documenting vacations, famous landmarks, and children's entertainment properties, building libraries of miniature experiences. The devices required no batteries or electricity, offering entertainment anywhere with sufficient light. The tactile satisfaction of clicking through images and the novelty of three-dimensional viewing kept children occupied for extended periods. As video technology offered moving pictures, these static viewers disappeared. 45. 8mm. Home movie projectors. Home movie projectors brought family films to life for approximately 25 years before video cameras and VCRs revolutionized home entertainment completely. These mechanical devices required threading delicate film through intricate paths, projecting images onto portable screens or blank walls. The ritual of setting up equipment, darkening rooms, and watching flickering silent films created special family occasions. The distinctive clicking sound and bright projection lamps became associated with reliving precious memories and special occasions. Parents carefully edited footage using razor blades and splicing tape, creating narrative sequences from raw footage shot on spring-wound cameras. The film's fragility meant each viewing risked damage, making screenings precious events. Processing costs limited filming to significant occasions, making every frame valuable. As video offered instant playback without processing costs, film projectors disappeared. 46. Rabbit ear antennas for TV sets. Rabbit ear antennas perched atop television sets for approximately 30 years, requiring constant adjustment to achieve acceptable picture quality. These telescoping metal rods picked up VHF broadcast signals with varying success depending on geography, weather, and mysterious atmospheric conditions. Families developed elaborate adjustment rituals involving antenna positioning, household member placement, and sometimes aluminum foil enhancement. The antenna's nickname derived from their resemblance to rabbit ears when fully extended at optimal angles. Children often served as human antennas, holding positions that inexplicably improved reception during crucial program moments. The frustrating process of achieving clear pictures became accepted parts of television viewing, with perfect reception considered fortunate rather than expected. Rotating antennas and adjusting length during programs interrupted entertainment regularly. When cable television eliminated reception struggles, these ubiquitous accessories quickly disappeared. 47. The Zenith Space Command Remote. Zenith Space Command Remote revolutionized television control for roughly 15 years as the first practical wireless remote using ultrasonic technology rather than batteries. This mechanical marvel produced high-frequency sounds inaudible to humans, but detected by television receivers, allowing channel changing from comfortable seating positions. The distinctive clicking sounds and solid metal construction made the device feel substantial and futuristic. Families marveled at controlling televisions without wires, considering the technology nearly magical despite limited functionality. The remotes offered only basic controls: channel up, channel down, and volume, but represented significant convenience improvements. Household pets sometimes reacted to ultrasonic frequencies, providing entertainment alongside the technology's primary purpose. The mechanical design meant no battery replacements, though internal components occasionally required service. As infrared remotes offered expanded functionality, these ultrasonic pioneers disappeared. 48. TV test patterns and sign-off music. Television test patterns and sign-off music concluded broadcasting days for approximately 25 years, when stations ceased transmission overnight, instead of broadcasting continuously. These geometric patterns, accompanied by steady tones, allowed technicians to calibrate television sets while informing viewers that programming had ended. The national anthem typically played during sign-off sequences, often accompanied by patriotic imagery before screens went dark or displayed static. Families learned station schedules, knowing exactly when programming ceased and resumed. Late-night viewers, who fell asleep watching television, awakened to loud static from test patterns, providing natural alarm clocks. The concept of television ending seemed perfectly normal, with continuous broadcasting considered unnecessary and economically impractical. The test pattern's hypnotic geometry and the finality of sign-off music marked daily rhythms. 24-hour broadcasting eliminated these distinctive experiences. 49. Glass ashtrays on TV trays. Glass ashtrays resided permanently on TV trays throughout approximately 25 years, when smoking during television viewing was universal rather than prohibited. These practical accessories featured grooves for resting cigarettes, while viewers remained focused on programs, with decorative designs ranging from simple functional pieces to elaborate colored glass creations. The assumption that every viewer smoked meant ashtrays appeared in every room and on every surface where people gathered. The tinkling sound of glass ashtrays being moved and emptied became background noise in households. Cigarette advertising during programs encouraged constant smoking, making ashtrays essential viewing accessories. The omnipresence of smoking paraphernalia reflected cultural attitudes considering the habit sophisticated rather than dangerous. As smoking's health risks became undeniable and indoor smoking prohibition spread, these ubiquitous accessories disappeared from living rooms. 50. Black and white sets with V-hold controls. Black and white television sets featured V-hold controls for approximately 20 years, requiring manual adjustment to prevent pictures from rolling vertically uncontrollably. These analog controls stabilized synchronization between broadcast signals and television receivers, often requiring frequent adjustment during viewing. Families developed expertise in precise V-hold adjustment, learning exactly how much rotation corrected rolling without overcorrecting. The frustrating experience of pictures slowly drifting upward or downward, mid-program tested viewers' patience regularly. Children learned television repair basics through repeated V-hold adjustments, understanding mechanical television operation intuitively. Quality sets maintained stable pictures longer, while aging televisions required increasingly frequent adjustment. The mechanical nature of television reception meant understanding and maintaining equipment formed part of ownership responsibilities. Color television and improved circuitry eliminated these manual controls completely. Let's take a look at forgotten parts of daily life. 51. Phone party lines shared with neighbors. Telephone party lines connected multiple households for over 30 years, requiring families to share single telephone lines with neighbors economically. Picking up receivers often revealed ongoing conversations, requiring polite replacement and patient waiting for line availability. Privacy was non-existent, with nosy neighbors potentially listening to private conversations undetected. Distinctive ring patterns identified which household was receiving calls, though answering wrong rings revealed tempting gossip opportunities. Telephone etiquette included limiting call duration and emergency prioritization, with violators facing neighborhood disapproval. Children learned patience, waiting for line availability before making calls to friends. The shared system created unusual intimacy between neighbors who overheard life details accidentally or intentionally. As dedicated lines became affordable and available, party lines disappeared, restoring privacy but eliminating peculiar community connections. 52. Manual typewriters with ribbon reels. Manual typewriters dominated offices and homes for approximately 40 years before electric models and eventually computers revolutionized text production completely. These mechanical marvels required significant finger pressure, activating metal arms that struck ink ribbons against paper. The distinctive clacking sounds and carriage return bells provided satisfying sensory feedback accompanying writing processes. Learning proper typing technique developed finger strength and keyboard familiarity that translated to later computer skills. Changing ribbons, correcting errors with whiteout or correction tape, and adjusting margins required mechanical understanding and patience. The physicality of typing connected writers to words differently than silent computer keyboards. Carbon paper allowed creating multiple copies simultaneously, though accuracy mattered significantly more without easy correction. As word processors offered effortless editing, typewriters disappeared almost overnight. 53. Green stamps and redemption books. Green stamps rewarded shoppers for approximately 30 years, with retailers distributing stamps based on purchase amounts that customers collected in special books. Families carefully moistened and affixed stamps into books, accumulating enough for redemption at dedicated stores offering household goods, appliances, and gifts. The program created shopping loyalty, with customers preferring stores offering stamps over slightly cheaper competitors. Children helped paste stamps, learning delayed gratification and savings concepts through tangible collecting. Redemption catalogs featured desirable items requiring specific stamp quantities, making accumulation goals concrete and motivating. The stamps represented additional value beyond purchases, stretching household budgets through patient collecting. Full books accumulated over months represented significant accomplishment and purchasing power for practical goods. As discount stores and credit cards changed shopping behaviors, stamp programs disappeared completely. 54. Home milk delivery with glass bottles. Home milk delivery served families faithfully for over 40 years, with milkmen delivering fresh dairy products in reusable glass bottles during early morning hours. Customers left empty bottles in insulated boxes, finding them replaced with fresh milk before breakfast preparations began. The system operated on trust, with payment collected periodically and special orders accommodated through notes left in bottles. The service provided convenience before refrigeration, allowed extended milk storage, and supermarkets offered one-stop shopping. Children retrieved cold bottles, enjoying the responsibility and occasionally sneaking cream from bottle tops. The clinking sound of bottles being delivered and collected became neighborhood morning soundtrack. Standardized glass bottles were collected, sterilized, and reused countless times before environmental consciousness made such practices mainstream. Supermarket shopping and disposable containers eliminated this personal service entirely. 55. House calls from family doctors. Family doctors made house calls routinely for approximately 30 years, treating minor illnesses and injuries in patients' homes, rather than requiring office visits. These personal relationships meant physicians knew entire families intimately, understanding household dynamics alongside medical histories. The black medical bag became an iconic symbol of medical care, containing instruments and medications for bedside diagnosis and treatment. Seriously ill children received home visits, sparing parents the difficulty of transporting sick kids to offices. The practice reflected smaller patient loads and different economic models where time permitted personalized attention. Doctors often accepted payment in goods or services from struggling families, building community relationships beyond pure commerce. As medical practice consolidated into clinics and emergency rooms, house calls became economically impractical, ending this personalized care tradition completely. 56. Door-to-door salesmen with suitcases. Door-to-door salesmen visited neighborhoods regularly for approximately 30 years, selling encyclopedias, vacuum cleaners, cosmetics, brushes, and countless other products directly from heavy sample cases. These persistent entrepreneurs relied on demonstration skills and personal charm, gaining entry to homes where housewives represented accessible daytime audiences. The Fuller Brush Man, Avon Lady, and encyclopedia salesman became cultural figures, with some building successful careers through direct sales. Homemakers developed strategies for politely refusing unwanted sales pitches while remaining neighborly and respectful. Some salesmen became familiar neighborhood fixtures, building customer relationships spanning years. The practice provided employment opportunities requiring minimal formal education but substantial people skills. As shopping centers proliferated and women entered workforces, daytime home access disappeared, eliminating this sales model almost completely. 57. The Sears Catalog as a shopping Bible. Sears catalogs served as comprehensive shopping resources for approximately 50 years before internet shopping offered superior selection and convenience. These massive books arrived seasonally, containing thousands of products from clothing to appliances, with detailed descriptions and illustrations. Rural families particularly relied on catalogs, accessing merchandise unavailable locally through mail-order systems. Children spent hours browsing toy sections, creating wish lists and memorizing product numbers for anticipated Christmas requests. The catalog's comprehensiveness made them valuable references beyond shopping, with specifications and descriptions providing educational information. Families kept multiple catalogs simultaneously, comparing seasons and planning major purchases carefully. The phrase Sears and Roebuck represented reliability and American commerce itself. The catalog's secondary use as outhouse tissue became legendary rural tradition. Internet shopping eliminated these physical catalogs' necessity almost completely. 58. Neighborhood block parties. Neighborhood block parties flourished for approximately 25 years as regular community celebrations closing streets for collective festivities. These informal gatherings featured potluck meals, games for children, and socializing among neighbors who knew each other well. Entire streets participated, with each household contributing food, decorations, or entertainment supporting collective celebration. The events strengthened community bonds, creating support networks and friendships extending beyond casual neighboring. Children played freely under collective supervision, with multiple adults monitoring safety and resolving conflicts. The celebrations marked summers, holidays, or simply provided excuses for community gathering and relationship building. Organizing required minimal formal structure, with volunteers naturally emerging to coordinate logistics. As families became more mobile and privacy preferences increased, these spontaneous community celebrations occurred less frequently or disappeared entirely. 59. Coin-operated shoe shine machines. Coin-operated shoe shine machines occupied public spaces for approximately 30 years, offering mechanical buffing services in train stations, airports, hotels, and downtown areas. These substantial units featured footrests and rotating brushes that buffed pre-polished shoes to high shine for modest fees. Business travelers and professionals maintained appearances between more thorough hand-shine services, appreciating convenient mechanical buffing. The machines represented technological solutions to grooming needs during eras, prioritizing polished appearances. Some locations featured human attendants alongside machines, offering full-service shines for premium prices. The mechanical whirring sounds and polished smells characterized transportation hubs and business districts. As casual dress codes reduced emphasis on immaculately shined shoes, these machines disappeared from public spaces, marking significant cultural shifts in appearance standards and formality expectations. 60. Station wagons with wood panels. Wood-paneled station wagons dominated suburban driveways for approximately 25 years as quintessential family vehicles combining spacious cargo space with distinctive styling. These large automobiles featured simulated wood-grain panels along sides, initially attempting to replicate earlier vehicles' actual wood construction. The rear-facing third-row seats provided exciting if potentially dangerous seating where children watched roads disappearing behind them. Families relied on wagons for everything from daily errands to cross-country vacations, with cavernous interiors accommodating children, pets, luggage, and sporting equipment simultaneously. The vehicles represented suburban family life and American prosperity, appearing in countless photographs and vacation memories. Tailgates doubled as picnic seating and loading platforms. As minivans offered improved functionality and SUVs provided status, these iconic family haulers disappeared from production completely. Let's now revisit some forgotten public experiences. Nostalgic items from the 1950's. Continued. 61. Five and dime stores, like Woolworths. Five and dime stores thrived for approximately 60 years as essential community retailers offering remarkable variety at affordable prices. These establishments featured long aisles packed with household goods, toys, stationery, candy, cosmetics, and countless everyday items. The lunch counters became social gathering spots where neighbors shared meals and conversation over coffee and pie. Children spent allowances carefully, selecting penny candy from glass cases while store clerks patiently waited. The store's democratic accessibility meant everyone shopped there, regardless of economic status, creating genuine community mixing. Woolworth's distinctive red storefront and gold lettering became iconic American commercial imagery. The variety and affordability made these stores indispensable for budget-conscious families. As discount chains and shopping malls offered cheaper goods and broader selection, these beloved institutions closed, eliminating community anchors. 62. Automat cafeterias with coin slots. Automat cafeterias revolutionized urban dining for approximately 50 years, offering prepared foods displayed behind small glass doors opened by inserting coins. These mechanical marvels provided quick, affordable meals without waitstaff, perfectly suiting rushed city workers and budget-conscious diners. The novelty of selecting food from individual compartments created engaging dining experiences, particularly fascinating to children. Behind walls, kitchen workers constantly replenished compartments, maintaining fresh offerings throughout operating hours. The self-service concept allowed dignified dining for those who couldn't afford traditional restaurants, democratizing restaurant experiences. Popular items disappeared quickly during lunch rushes, requiring strategic timing or flexible preferences. The gleaming chrome and glass fixtures represented modern efficiency and technological progress. As fast food chains offered even greater convenience and standardization, these unique establishments disappeared from cities completely. 63. Bomb shelter kits in basements. Bomb shelter kits populated basements for approximately 15 years during peak Cold War anxiety, when nuclear attack seemed genuinely imminent. These supplies included canned foods, water containers, first aid materials, radiation detectors, and instructions for surviving atomic warfare. Families invested significantly in shelter construction, stocking supplies according to government recommendations and civil defense guidelines. The preparations reflected genuine fear that nuclear war could erupt suddenly, requiring immediate underground refuge. Some elaborate shelters featured ventilation systems, reinforced walls, and supplies supporting weeks of occupation. Children practiced shelter drills, learning to duck and cover under desks during simulated attacks. The psychological burden of preparing for apocalypse affected entire generations. As détente reduced immediate nuclear fears, abandoned shelters became storage spaces, their grim supplies eventually discarded or forgotten completely. 64. Air raid sirens and drills at school. Air raid sirens and school drills dominated childhood for approximately 20 years, conditioning entire generations to fear sudden nuclear attacks. These loud sirens tested regularly, their distinctive wailing sounds creating anxiety even during routine tests. Schoolchildren practiced crawling under desks, covering heads, and moving to designated shelter areas during frequent drills. Teachers maintained serious demeanor during exercises, emphasizing that actual attacks required identical responses for survival. The drill's regularity normalized nuclear threat, making apocalyptic scenarios seem routine rather than extraordinary. Some schools designated basements as fallout shelters, stocking them with supplies and marking them with distinctive yellow and black symbols. The psychological impact of expecting annihilation shaped Cold War generations profoundly. As nuclear tensions eased somewhat, these frequent drills diminished significantly, though never disappeared entirely from American consciousness. 65. Penny arcades on boardwalks. Penny arcades entertained vacationers for over 40 years, offering mechanical games, fortune tellers, and amusements operated by inserting pennies or nickels. These boardwalk fixtures featured elaborate mechanical devices predating electronic games, providing simple but engaging entertainment. Strength testers, claw machines, peep shows, and mutoscopes lined arcade walls, each promising brief excitement for minimal investment. The environment smelled distinctly of salt water, popcorn, and machine oil, creating sensory experiences inseparable from seaside vacations. Children clutched rolls of pennies, strategically selecting which machines deserved their limited resources. Some arcades featured early electric games, though mechanical devices dominated throughout the era. The arcade atmosphere, lights, sounds, crowds, created excitement beyond individual game experiences. As video game arcades and later home gaming systems emerged, these mechanical entertainment centers disappeared from boardwalks almost completely, replaced by modern amusement options. 66. Gas station. Giveaways. Like dishes, gas stations offered promotional giveaways for approximately 25 years, providing dishes, glassware, towels, and other household goods with fuel purchases to build customer loyalty. These programs encouraged repeat business, with customers collecting complete dish sets by consistently patronizing particular stations. The quality merchandise represented genuine value, making fuel choices dependent partly on available premiums. Families planned routes around preferred stations, accumulating matching dinnerware through months of regular purchases. Station attendants pumped gas, checked oil, cleaned windshields, and distributed premiums, providing full service now considered extraordinary. The promotions reflected intense competition for customer loyalty in expanding automobile culture. Complete dish sets earned through gasoline purchases became treasured possessions and conversation pieces. As self-service stations and discount pricing eliminated premium programs, these promotional traditions disappeared, fundamentally changing customer station relationships and commercial practices completely. 67. Neighborhood ice cream trucks with bells. Ice cream trucks cruised neighborhoods for over 30 years, announcing arrival through distinctive bells or musical jingles that sent children running for change. These mobile vendors offered convenient frozen treats without requiring trips to stores, creating magical summer experiences. The truck's approach created neighborhood excitement, with children begging parents for money and debating treat selections. Drivers learned neighborhood schedules and preferences, becoming familiar figures children recognized and trusted. The limited selection meant decisions focused on favorites rather than overwhelming choices modern consumers expect. Prices remained affordable enough for regular purchases, making ice cream trucks accessible treats rather than special occasion luxuries. Some trucks featured elaborate painted exteriors, advertising available treats through appealing imagery. As concerns about stranger danger increased and commercial ice cream became universally available, these beloved neighborhood fixtures became less common or disappeared entirely from many communities. 68. Greyhound bus stations with diner counters. Greyhound bus stations served as vital transportation hubs for approximately 40 years, featuring integrated diner counters serving travelers during layovers between connections. These stations represented democratic travel options, accommodating passengers who couldn't afford airline tickets or didn't own automobiles. The diners provided hot meals, coffee, and comfort food during long-distance journeys, becoming temporary homes for transient travelers. Counter seating encouraged conversation between strangers, sharing travel experiences and destinations. The stations bustled with activity day and night, creating unique urban energy combining purpose and transience. Weary travelers dozed in waiting areas between arrivals and departures, their luggage stacked nearby. The experience represented slower, more social transportation modes requiring patience and flexibility. As airline travel became affordable and interstate highways enabled personal automobile travel, bus stations declined significantly, with many closing entirely or eliminating diner services completely. 69. Coin-op photo booths in malls. Coin-operated photo booths entertained mall visitors for approximately 30 years, producing strips of black and white photographs in minutes for minimal cost. These enclosed booths offered privacy for silly poses, romantic couples pictures, or formal portraits depending on purpose and participants. The brief countdown between poses created frantic energy as subjects rearranged themselves for multiple shots. The chemical development process meant waiting several minutes before retrieving finished photo strips from exterior slots. Friends shared photo strips, cutting them apart and treasuring images as tangible friendship tokens. The booth's affordability made them accessible to teenagers with limited budgets seeking memorable keepsakes. Some people used booths for passport photos or identification purposes, though quality remained inconsistent. As digital cameras and smartphones enabled unlimited free photography, these charming booths largely disappeared from public spaces, eliminating unique social experiences and affordable instant photography. 70. Small-town soda fountains. Small-town soda fountains served communities faithfully for over 50 years as essential social gathering spots offering ice cream treats, phosphates, and light meals. These establishments featured long counters with swiveling stools, where locals gathered for gossip, refreshment, and connection. Soda jerks mastered elaborate techniques, creating ice cream sodas, malts, and sundaes, performing with theatrical flair. Teenagers claimed booths for after-school, socializing, nursing, cherry cokes, while jukebox music provided soundtracks to adolescent dramas. The fountains represented neutral territory where different social groups mixed naturally, creating community cohesion. Older residents occupied regular stools, maintaining daily routines that structured their social lives. The distinctive smells of ice cream, sweet syrups, and grilling food created sensory experiences defining small-town life. As fast food franchises and changing social patterns emerged, these independent establishments closed, eliminating irreplaceable community gathering spaces completely. Let's shift to forgotten tech and inventions. 71. Slide rules used in schools. Slide rules dominated mathematics and engineering for approximately 70 years before pocket calculators rendered them instantly obsolete. These analog calculating devices featured logarithmic scales, allowing multiplication, division, and complex calculations through mechanical manipulation. Students learned slide rule operation as essential mathematical skill, practicing until proficient in efficient calculation techniques. Engineers kept personal slide rules in leather cases, treating them as professional tools requiring care and maintenance. The physical nature of calculations created intuitive understanding of mathematical relationships impossible with digital calculators. Accuracy depended on user skill and careful scale reading, typically providing 3-digit precision sufficient for most applications. Different slide rule models offered specialized scales for specific engineering or scientific applications. When electronic calculators became affordable, slide rules disappeared from classrooms and engineering offices virtually overnight, ending centuries of analog calculation tradition completely. 72. Flash bulbs for cameras. Flash bulbs illuminated photography for approximately 30 years, before electronic flashes offered reusable alternatives. These single-use bulbs contained fine metal wire and oxygen atmospheres, producing brilliant light when electrical current ignited them. Photographers carried multiple bulbs, replacing them after each flash photograph during important events. The bulbs became extremely hot after firing, requiring careful handling to avoid burns from touching spent bulbs immediately. The distinctive bright flash and occasional bulb failures meant photographers couldn't guarantee successful shots, adding uncertainty to important moments. Some cameras featured automatic bulb ejection systems preventing burns, though manual replacement remained common. The expendable nature meant photography involved ongoing supply costs beyond film itself. Wedding and event photographers carried dozens of bulbs, planning for sufficient supplies throughout occasions. Electronic flash units eliminated replacement costs and uncertainty, causing flash bulbs to disappear from photography almost completely. 73. Vacuum tube TVs and radios. Vacuum tube electronics powered televisions and radios for over 30 years before transistor technology revolutionized consumer electronics completely. These glowing glass tubes required warm-up periods before equipment functioned properly, teaching patience to users accustomed to instant gratification. The tubes generated substantial heat, making electronic equipment warm or hot during operation. Regular tube replacement became necessary maintenance, with dedicated tube testers available in hardware stores for diagnosis. Repair shops thrived, staffed by technicians understanding complex circuitry and tube characteristics. The substantial size and weight of tube equipment meant portability remained limited, despite portable model designations. Power consumption was significant, with tube equipment drawing considerable electricity compared to later transistor devices. The warm glow visible through ventilation holes created nostalgic ambiance associated with entertainment. Transistor and integrated circuit technology made tube equipment obsolete virtually overnight. 74. Mimeograph machines with ink smell. Mimeograph machines reproduced documents in schools and offices for approximately 40 years, creating copies through distinctive purple ink, transferring from stencils. These mechanical devices required careful stencil preparation, using typewriters or special styluses, cutting through wax coatings. The purple-blue ink produced somewhat smudgy copies, with characteristic appearance instantly recognizable to anyone who received mimeographed materials. The distinctive chemical smell of fresh mimeograph copies became strongly associated with school papers and tests. Students received warm copies, some deliberately inhaling the peculiar solvent aroma, despite discouragement from teachers. Operating machines required skill, with pressure adjustments and ink distribution affecting copy quality significantly. The process messy fingers with purple ink that stained skin temporarily. Xerographic photocopiers offering clearer copies eliminated mimeograph machines from offices and schools almost completely, ending distinctive sensory experiences entirely. 75. Geiger counters sold as toys. Geiger counters appeared in toy catalogs for approximately 15 years during Cold War peak, when nuclear anxiety pervaded culture and radiation detection seemed valuable skill. These functional devices detected radioactivity using actual detection tubes, though marketed to children as educational scientific instruments. The clicking sounds increasing near radioactive sources provided audio feedback, making invisible phenomena tangible and somewhat exciting. Children tested household items, rocks, and watches with radium dials, discovering unexpected radioactivity in everyday objects. The toys reflected era's fascination with atomic science and belief that nuclear knowledge represented important education. Some devices came with small radioactive samples for testing and experimentation, practices unthinkable by modern safety standards. The marketing emphasized scientific education rather than danger, normalizing radiation concerns. As nuclear fears diminished and safety awareness increased, these unusual toys disappeared from catalogs completely. 76. Filmstrip projectors for classrooms. Filmstrip projectors educated students for approximately 30 years, displaying sequences of still images on screens, while teachers narrated or played accompanying audio recordings. These devices offered visual education without film's expense and complexity, making them practical for regular classroom use. The distinctive clicking sound, advancing frames between images, became familiar classroom soundtrack during audio-visual lessons. Some film strips included audio recordings on records or tapes, synchronizing advancement with narration automatically. Teachers appreciated the ability to pause indefinitely on particular frames for discussion or emphasis. The format allowed color images at costs lower than motion pictures, expanding visual education possibilities. Storing film strips required minimal space compared to bulky film reels, encouraging schools to build substantial audiovisual libraries. The static images seemed increasingly primitive as video technology advanced, causing film strips to disappear from classrooms completely. 77. Carbon paper for duplicating notes. Carbon paper created duplicate documents for over 70 years before photocopiers and computers eliminated the need for manual copying methods. These thin sheets, coated with dark pigment, transferred impressions from original writing or typing onto papers positioned beneath. Typists created multiple copies simultaneously by interleaving carbon sheets between paper layers, though accuracy became critical without correction possibilities. The process left characteristic blue or black smudges on hands and clothing, making carbon paper handling messy business. Business forms often included carbon sheets, enabling customers to retain transaction copies automatically. The copy's quality degraded with each additional layer, limiting practical duplication to 3 or 4 copies typically. Some carbon paper was single-use, while better quality versions permitted multiple uses before exhaustion. Photocopiers offering unlimited clean copies eliminated carbon paper from offices and businesses almost entirely. 78. Polio vaccination. Sugar cubes. Polio vaccination sugar cubes represented medical breakthrough for approximately 10 years, delivering oral vaccine through pleasant-tasting medium that eliminated injection fears. Children lined up eagerly for sugar cubes rather than dreading needle sticks, transforming vaccination from traumatic to almost treat-like experience. The vaccine absorbed into the porous sugar dissolved in mouths, providing immunity through digestive system rather than injection. Mass vaccination campaigns distributed millions of cubes through schools and public health clinics, effectively eliminating polio from developed nations. The innovation demonstrated creative approaches to medical compliance, particularly valuable for pediatric applications. Parents celebrated the vaccine's availability after years of summer polio epidemics, closing pools, and causing widespread fear. The success virtually eliminated polio, meaning the distinctive sugar cube vaccinations became unnecessary and disappeared, as later generations received injections containing updated formulations targeting remaining polio strains globally. 79. Cloth-covered electrical cords. Cloth-covered electrical cords served as standard wiring for approximately 40 years before plastic insulation offered superior safety and durability. These fabric-wrapped cords connected appliances and lamps to outlets, their textile covering providing insulation while allowing flexibility. The cords frayed over time, exposing dangerous bare wires that created fire and shock hazards. Various colors and patterns in cloth coverings allowed some decorative coordination with home decor, though safety remained the primary consideration. The cord's appearance seemed appropriate for era, when electrical service represented modern luxury rather than basic utility. Repair involved careful rewrapping or replacement rather than simple insulation patching. The textile covering absorbed moisture and collected dust, creating additional potential hazards. As plastic insulation technology improved, offering better safety characteristics and durability, cloth-covered cords disappeared from new appliances and homes completely, replaced by safer modern alternatives universally. 80. Analog clocks with glow-in-the-dark hands. Analog clocks featuring glow-in-the-dark hands and numerals dominated bedrooms for approximately 30 years before digital displays offered alternative timekeeping. These clocks used radium-based luminous paint, allowing nighttime reading without electricity or illumination, providing reassuring visibility during darkness. The soft green glow became associated with nighttime comfort and time awareness without sleep disruption. Children watched glowing hands move slowly, learning patience and time concepts through visible mechanical progression. The radium paint's radioactive properties remained unrecognized as hazardous for decades, with countless people experiencing chronic low-level exposure. The clocks required no batteries for luminescence, glowing continuously through radioactive decay rather than requiring charging. Later formulations used safer tritium or phosphorescent materials responding to light exposure. Digital clocks, offering illuminated displays, eliminated need for luminous materials entirely, causing these distinctive timepieces to disappear from most bedrooms completely. Back to childhood memories and forgotten trends. 81. Dick and Jane, readers in classrooms. Dick and Jane reading primers taught generations to read for approximately 40 years, using simple, repetitive sentences and idealized family imagery. These colorful books featured the titular characters, their dog Spot and cat Puff in wholesome suburban adventures using controlled vocabulary. The distinctive See Spot Run methodology introduced reading through word repetition and predictable sentence structures. Children progressed through graded readers, advancing from simple to complex stories as vocabulary expanded systematically. The book's idealized depictions showed exclusively white, middle-class families in perfect suburban settings, reflecting narrow cultural assumptions. Teachers relied on these standardized texts, conducting reading circles where students took turns reading aloud. The methodology emphasized sight word recognition over phonics, sparking ongoing educational debates. As diverse teaching approaches and multicultural materials emerged, these iconic readers disappeared from classrooms, replaced by varied texts representing broader experiences. 82. School pencil boxes with compartments. School pencil boxes organized supplies for approximately 30 years, featuring metal or plastic compartments holding pencils, erasers, crayons, and small treasures. These personalized containers displayed favorite characters, sports teams, or decorative designs, reflecting individual personalities and interests. The satisfying snap of closing latches and rattle of contents became familiar school sounds. Children carefully arranged supplies, creating order in small spaces while protecting precious items from damage. The boxes served as trading spaces where friends exchanged interesting erasers, stickers, or small toys during class. Teachers accepted pencil boxes as necessary equipment, though occasional classroom disruptions occurred when they clattered loudly to floors. The metal boxes proved remarkably durable, lasting years despite daily handling and occasional misuse as percussion instruments. As backpacks with multiple pockets replaced desk storage, these dedicated supply containers largely disappeared from classrooms, replaced by zipper pouches. Nostalgic items from the 1950's continued. 83. Tin toy robots and wind-up animals. Tin toy robots and wind-up animals captivated children for approximately 25 years, representing the pinnacle of mechanical toy craftsmanship before plastic manufacturing dominated the industry. These colorful, lithographed metal toys featured intricate designs printed directly onto tin surfaces, creating vibrant characters that sparked imagination and wonder. The robots, in particular, reflected the era's space-age optimism and fascination with automation, featuring flashing lights, spinning antennae, and mechanical walking motions that seemed almost magical to young observers. Wind-up mechanisms required simple key turning, teaching children basic mechanical principles while providing entertainment that lasted until springs unwound. The toys' substantial weight and solid construction meant they withstood rough play, often surviving to serve multiple siblings or even generations. Collectors today prize these items for their nostalgic value and superior craftsmanship, with mint-condition examples commanding impressive prices at auctions. The distinctive whirring sound of wound mechanisms and the metallic clanking of moving parts created sensory experiences impossible to replicate with modern electronic toys. Japanese manufacturers particularly excelled at producing elaborate tin robots featuring multiple actions, walking, spinning, shooting sparks that mesmerized children and adults alike. The toys required no batteries, making them economically attractive to parents while teaching children patience as they waited for mechanisms to wind down before rewinding. As plastic injection molding offered cheaper production and safety concerns about sharp metal edges increased, these beloved tin toys gradually disappeared from store shelves, replaced by colorful but less durable plastic alternatives that lacked the substantial feel and mechanical sophistication of their predecessors. 84. Western-themed school bags and supplies. Western-themed school bags and supplies dominated children's accessories for approximately 15 years during television Western's golden age, when cowboy heroes captivated young imaginations nationwide. These products featured images of popular characters like Roy Rogers, the Lone Ranger, Hopalong Cassidy, and Gene Autry emblazoned across lunchboxes, pencil cases, notebooks, and fabric school bags. The merchandising phenomenon represented early examples of media cross-promotion, with television programs driving consumer demand for related products that extended entertainment experiences beyond screen time. Children begged parents for supplies featuring favorite cowboys, creating brand loyalty and social hierarchies based on which characters adorned possessions. The sturdy canvas or vinyl school bags featured elaborate Western scenes with horses, cattle, covered wagons, and desert landscapes that reinforced frontier mythology and American expansion narratives. Matching sets allowed complete coordination, with lunchboxes, thermoses, pencil boxes, and notebooks all displaying consistent imagery and color schemes. Parents often purchased these items despite premium pricing, because children's enthusiasm made the investment worthwhile for school year success and happiness. The Western theme reflected broader cultural values emphasizing individualism, courage, justice, and clear moral distinctions between heroes and villains that resonated with post-war American identity. Teachers observed classrooms filled with Western paraphernalia, acknowledging the cultural phenomenon while maintaining educational focus despite potential distractions. As television programming shifted away from Westerns toward other genres, and cultural attitudes toward frontier mythology became more complex and critical, these themed supplies gradually disappeared from stores, replaced by new character merchandising reflecting changing entertainment preferences and evolving cultural values that no longer centered cowboy narratives. 85. Classroom film reels and bulletin boards. Classroom film reels and bulletin boards served educational purposes for approximately 30 years, representing primary audiovisual teaching methods before video technology revolutionized educational media delivery. The 16mm film projectors required threading delicate celluloid through complex mechanical paths, a skill teachers mastered through practice and occasional frustrating mishaps when film jammed or broke. Educational films covered countless subjects: science concepts, historical events, safety lessons, and cultural topics, providing visual learning experiences that textbooks and lectures alone couldn't deliver effectively. The ritual of darkening classrooms, lowering projection screens, and watching flickering images created special occasions that students anticipated eagerly, offering welcome breaks from routine instruction. Bulletin boards, meanwhile, displayed student work, seasonal decorations, educational posters, and thematic materials that transformed plain walls into dynamic learning environments, reflecting current studies and celebrations. Teachers invested significant time creating elaborate bulletin board displays using construction paper, pushpins, borders, and three-dimensional elements that showcased creativity while reinforcing educational concepts. The combination of film screenings and decorated bulletin boards created multisensory learning environments, engaging students through varied modalities and maintaining visual interest throughout school years. Film libraries maintained extensive collections organized by subject and grade level, with teachers reserving materials weeks in advance for specific lessons, requiring careful planning and coordination. The projector's mechanical nature meant occasional malfunctions during screenings, teaching students patience while teachers performed emergency repairs or improvised alternative lessons. As videotapes offered easier handling and eventually digital projectors eliminated physical media entirely, film reels disappeared from schools, while bulletin boards persist, though often supplemented or replaced by digital displays and interactive whiteboards reflecting technological progress. 86. Bookmobiles. Visiting neighborhoods. Bookmobiles served communities faithfully for over 40 years, bringing library services directly to neighborhoods, rural areas, and underserved populations, lacking easy access to permanent library facilities. These specially designed vehicles, typically converted buses or large vans, featured built-in shelving, checkout desks, and carefully curated collections rotated regularly to provide fresh reading options for regular patrons. The scheduled visits became anticipated community events, with children watching eagerly for the distinctive vehicle's arrival, and adults planning errands around bookmobile schedules to ensure they didn't miss browsing opportunities. Librarians driving bookmobiles developed personal relationships with patrons, learning individual preferences and making recommendations that fostered lifelong reading habits and literacy development. The services proved particularly valuable for rural families living far from town libraries, elderly individuals with transportation limitations, and children whose parents worked during regular library hours. The bookmobile's interiors smelled distinctly of books and wood, creating cozy mobile reading rooms where patrons browsed leisurely despite limited space compared to traditional libraries. Special accommodations allowed physically disabled patrons to access materials, with librarians bringing books to homebound individuals unable to board vehicles independently. Summer reading programs operated through bookmobiles encouraged children to maintain literacy skills during school breaks, offering prizes and tracking progress through visual charts displayed inside vehicles. The programs represented significant library system investments, requiring vehicle maintenance, fuel costs, staff time, and collection management, but communities valued the outreach, justifying expenses. As automobile ownership became universal, library branches proliferated in suburbs, and digital books offered remote access. Many bookmobile programs were discontinued despite nostalgic attachment, though some communities maintain modified services, recognizing continued needs among specific populations. 87. Comic book racks at the drugstore. Comic book racks dominated drugstore displays for approximately 30 years, offering colorful entertainment that captured children's imaginations and pocket money, while parents shopped for prescriptions and household items. These wire or wooden rotating displays featured dozens of titles: superhero adventures, romance comics, westerns, horror tales, and humor magazines, creating miniature libraries accessible to young readers with limited budgets. The rack's placement near checkout counters meant children inevitably gravitated toward them, carefully examining covers and first pages before making difficult selection decisions with their precious dimes and quarters. Drugstore owners tolerated extended browsing despite some frustration, with readers who damaged merchandise through excessive handling or jurye pages to mark stopping points for next visits. The social aspect of comic collecting flourished around these racks, with children trading issues, discussing storylines, and establishing informal lending libraries that spread costs across friend groups. Comic books affordability, typically 10 cents initially, rising gradually to 12 cents. Then 15 cents meant even children with modest allowances could purchase regularly, building collections that provided repeated entertainment value. The lurid covers featuring action scenes, romantic clinches, and horror imagery sometimes attracted adult criticism and concerns about appropriateness, leading to the Comics Code Authority establishing content guidelines. Parents generally tolerated comic purchases as harmless entertainment that encouraged reading, though some dismissed them as inferior to real books, despite comics' legitimate literacy benefits. Drugstores appreciated comic sales profitability and customer traffic generation, with comics attracting children who often convinced parents to make additional impulse purchases. As dedicated comic shops emerged, supermarkets expanded, entertainment sections, and eventually digital distribution transformed the medium. Drugstore comic racks largely disappeared, eliminating accessible entry points for casual readers. 88. Trading cards for baseball and TV shows. Trading cards captivated collectors for over 40 years, featuring baseball players, television characters, and entertainment properties that children collected, traded, and treasured obsessively. Baseball cards came packaged with flat pink gum sticks, sold in wax paper packs for nickels, with children hoping to find favorite players or complete team sets through purchases and strategic trading. The cards featured player photographs on fronts with statistics and biographical information on backs, teaching children mathematics through batting averages and geography through player hometowns. Trading rituals occurred in schoolyards, on front porches, and at designated neighborhood gathering spots where children negotiated exchanges with surprising sophistication, learning basic economics and negotiation skills. The distinctive smell of stale gum and cardboard became inseparably associated with collecting experiences, triggering powerful nostalgia decades later. Television show cards featured characters from popular programs, with manufacturers licensing properties ranging from westerns to science fiction, creating parallel collecting universes beyond sports. Children developed sophisticated understanding of card values, recognizing rookie cards, rare variations, and star players commanded premium trading ratios, creating informal but widely understood economic systems. The cards served multiple purposes beyond collecting. They became bicycle spoke decorations producing motorcycle-like sounds, flipping game pieces during recess competitions, and treasured possessions displayed in shoeboxes or special albums. Parents generally supported collecting as constructive hobby teaching organization, responsibility, and social skills, though some tired of endless trading discussions and card-strewn bedrooms. The arrival of pristine condition cards, professional grading services, and speculation transformed childhood hobby into serious investment market, changing collecting's fundamental nature from playful accumulation to calculated acquisition, while digital cards now offer collecting experiences without physical objects' tangible satisfaction. 89. Plastic charm necklaces from gumball machines. Plastic charm necklaces from gumball machines delighted children for approximately 20 years, offering miniature treasures in small plastic bubbles dispensed for pennies or nickels. These tiny toys featured remarkable variety miniature animals, vehicles, household items, and abstract shapes molded in bright colors and strung on metal chains or elastic cords. The randomness created excitement, as children never knew which charm they'd receive, making each purchase a small gamble with their limited funds. Gumball machine placement in store entrances, restaurant waiting areas, and business lobbies meant children encountered them constantly, begging parents for coins to try their luck. The charm's small size made them perfect for pocket carrying and trading, with desirable pieces commanding multiple common charms in playground exchanges. Girls particularly collected charm necklaces, wearing multiple strands simultaneously as colorful jewelry that announced their collecting prowess and trading success. The plastic's durability meant charms survived rough handling, though chains frequently broke, requiring repairs or replacements that parents performed with varying patience levels. Some children developed elaborate collection systems, organizing charms by color, type, or source, learning classification and organization skills through play. The machines themselves represented mechanical marvels to young observers, with visible gears and mechanisms that made the coin-to-toy transformation seem almost magical. Manufacturers produced regional variations and seasonal items, making some charms rare and particularly valuable among young collectors. As concerns about choking hazards increased, manufacturing moved overseas, and more sophisticated toys became available cheaply. These simple pleasures largely disappeared from gumball machines, replaced by temporary tattoos, stickers, and other flat items considered safer, eliminating three-dimensional collecting possibilities and the distinctive anticipation of receiving unknown miniature objects. 90. Soapbox Derby Races. Sponsored by local stores, soapbox derby races captivated communities for over 30 years, with local businesses sponsoring young participants who designed, built, and raced gravity-powered vehicles down hills. These competitions represented pinnacles of mechanical achievement for boys, and eventually girls, who spent months crafting aerodynamic cars from basic materials following specific regulation requirements. Local hardware stores, lumber yards, auto parts shops and service stations provided materials, expertise, and financial support, investing in youth development while gaining community goodwill and advertising. The races became major civic events, with streets closed for competition, spectators lining courses, and local newspapers providing extensive coverage with photographs of winners and detailed race results. Participants learned engineering principles, woodworking skills, problem-solving abilities, and sportsmanship through building and racing processes that required sustained effort and adult mentorship. Fathers typically helped sons construct vehicles, creating bonding experiences and passing mechanical knowledge across generations through hands-on collaboration. The competitions featured multiple classes based on age and vehicle specifications, allowing broad participation while maintaining fair competition among similarly equipped racers. Winners advanced through local, regional, and potentially national championships held annually in Akron, Ohio, providing small-town children opportunities for broader recognition and achievement. The races emphasized craftsmanship and design rather than expensive equipment, theoretically allowing economically disadvantaged participants to compete successfully through ingenuity and effort. Community involvement extended beyond race day, with local media documenting building processes, sponsors hosting workshops, and veterans offering advice to newcomers, maintaining institutional knowledge. As insurance costs increased, participation declined, safer organized sports attracted young people, and liability concerns reduced business sponsorships. Many local derbies ended, though the organization continues with modified formats, having lost the widespread community integration and local business partnerships that once made these events central to American childhood and civic pride. Let's close with lost customs and slower ways of life. 91. Handwritten letters with fountain pens. Handwritten letters with fountain pens represented refined communication for over 40 years. When personal correspondence required time, care, and attention that demonstrated respect for recipients. These elegant writing instruments required filling from ink bottles, learning proper pressure and angle to avoid skips or blots, and developing distinctive penmanship that became personal signatures. Letter writing followed established conventions, proper salutations, organized paragraphs, appropriate closings that educated people learned and practiced throughout lives. The physical process of composing letters encouraged thoughtful expression, as errors required rewriting entire pages rather than simple corrections, promoting careful consideration before committing thoughts to paper. Fountain pens themselves represented significant investments, with quality instruments lasting lifetimes when properly maintained, becoming treasured possessions passed between generations. The sensory experience of writing, the scratch of nib on paper, the flow of wet ink, the distinctive smell created mindful communication acts impossible with modern keyboards. Different ink colors and paper qualities allowed personality expression within formal constraints, with some correspondents developing signature styles through paper selection and handwriting flourishes. Regular correspondents maintained relationships across distances, with letter arrival representing anticipated events, providing tangible connections to absent friends and family. The permanence of written letters created archives preserving family histories, relationship developments, and historical moments through first-hand accounts that later generations discovered in attics and drawers. Letter writing taught patience both in composition and awaiting responses, creating communication rhythms measured in days or weeks rather than instantaneous exchanges. As telephones became ubiquitous, postage costs increased, and eventually, email offered instant communication. Handwritten correspondence declined dramatically, with fountain pens becoming luxury items rather than everyday tools, eliminating thoughtful communication practices and the tangible artifacts that once documented lives and relationships across decades. 92. Waiting for the mailman each day. Waiting for the mailman each day structured time for approximately 50 years when postal delivery represented primary communication method, connecting households to broader worlds beyond immediate neighborhoods. The anticipated arrival time varied by route but generally occurred mid-morning to early afternoon, creating daily focal points around which people planned activities. Children volunteered to check mailboxes, hoping for letters from distant relatives, packages containing ordered items, or occasionally their own correspondence from pen pals or summer camp friends. The distinctive sound of the mail truck's engine, or the mailman's footsteps on porch steps, prompted immediate reactions, with family members rushing to see what arrived. Personal relationships developed between families and regular mail carriers who learned names, noticed absences, and sometimes shared neighborhood news during brief doorstep conversations. The mail's contents varied widely. Personal letters, bills, magazines, catalogs, advertisements, and occasional packages creating daily surprises and information updates about sales, news, and distant loved ones' activities. Holiday seasons intensified anticipation, with greeting cards arriving daily throughout December, providing social connection measurements as families compared card quantities received. The mailman represented trusted community figure, handling personal correspondence with assumed discretion and reliability that created essential communication infrastructure. Bad weather or delayed deliveries created noticeable disruption, as people expecting important correspondence grew anxious when mail arrived late or not at all. The ritual of sorting mail, reading letters, and responding to correspondence provided daily structure and social connection maintenance that occupied significant time and attention. As email replaced personal letters, online banking eliminated mailed statements, and communication became instantaneous, mail delivery lost its central importance in daily life, with many people now checking physical mailboxes only occasionally, having lost the anticipatory rhythm and social connection that once made mail arrival a cherished daily event structuring household routines. 93. Weekly church picnics and ice cream socials. Weekly church picnics and ice cream socials served as central community events for approximately 30 years, when religious institutions provided primary social infrastructure beyond work and school. These gatherings occurred regularly during warmer months, with congregations meeting in churchyards, parks, or members' properties for potluck meals and fellowship. The events strengthened community bonds, allowing members to interact informally beyond Sunday services, building relationships that supported each other through life's challenges. Families contributed homemade dishes, creating abundant spreads, reflecting regional cuisines and individual specialties that became anticipated annual traditions. Ice cream socials particularly attracted attendance, with hand-cranked freezers producing fresh ice cream that everyone shared while socializing on summer evenings. Children played freely under collective supervision, with adults conversing while monitoring the group, creating safe environments where kids developed independence within supportive communities. The gatherings crossed economic boundaries, with all members contributing according to abilities and sharing equally in fellowship regardless of financial circumstances. Games, singing, and sometimes organized activities provided entertainment, though informal socializing remained the primary purpose and attraction. These events allowed courtships to develop under appropriate supervision, with young people interacting casually while community observed and approved or discouraged developing relationships. The regular schedule created anticipation and routine, with families planning weeks around church social calendars. As American society became more mobile, suburban development dispersed congregations geographically, and competing entertainment options proliferated. These regular gatherings declined significantly, with many churches struggling to attract attendance to occasional events that once drew entire communities naturally and regularly. 94. Listening to the radio together after dinner. Listening to the radio together after dinner provided family entertainment for approximately 25 years before television displaced radio as primary evening activity. These evening rituals gathered families around living room radio consoles, tuning into favorite programs that aired at scheduled times, requiring punctual attendance. The purely audio medium engaged imaginations differently than visual entertainment, with listeners creating mental images of characters, settings, and action based solely on dialogue, sound effects, and musical cues. Popular programs created shared cultural experiences, with millions tuning in simultaneously to hear serialized dramas, comedy shows, variety programs, and news broadcasts that provided topics for workplace and school conversations. The routine created family togetherness time, with members gathering predictably rather than dispersing to individual activities throughout homes. Radio advertising became sophisticated art, with memorable jingles and sponsor messages that audiences absorbed and remembered, creating powerful marketing platforms. Children particularly enjoyed adventure serials and comedy programs, developing radio favorites they anticipated throughout days and discussed excitedly with friends. The darkness necessary for optimal listening created intimate atmospheres, with family members sitting quietly, focused entirely on audio entertainment. Special programs, holiday shows, major sporting events, presidential addresses became significant occasions, with extended families sometimes gathering specifically to listen collectively. The medium's limitations required active engagement, as listeners needed to pay attention continuously rather than glancing occasionally at screens while multitasking. As television offered visual entertainment combining sound and image, families rapidly abandoned radio listening rituals, with radio transforming into background accompaniment rather than focused entertainment requiring undivided attention, fundamentally changing how families spent evenings together and eliminating shared imaginative experiences that once united households. 95. Setting hair in curlers overnight. Setting hair in curlers overnight represented standard beauty routine for approximately 25 years, when styled hair required significant advanced preparation and physical discomfort. Women and teenage girls rolled sections of damp hair around plastic, metal, or foam curlers, securing them with pins or clips before bed, sleeping uncomfortably on the rigid implements. The process took considerable time, with elaborate hairstyles requiring dozens of curlers carefully positioned and secured to create desired curl patterns and volume. Morning removal revealed transformed hair ready for teasing, spraying, and final styling that would hopefully last until the next washing and setting cycle. The distinctive appearance of women wearing curlers in public, covered with scarves or kerchiefs, became acceptable neighborhood sight, particularly mornings while running quick errands before completing styling. The sleeping discomfort was accepted as necessary beauty sacrifice, with women positioning themselves carefully to minimize pain from curlers pressing against scalps and necks. Different curler types, sizes, and setting patterns created various effects, with women developing expertise in achieving specific styles through strategic roller placement. Daughters learned these techniques from mothers, inheriting both knowledge and actual curlers that lasted years with proper care. The routine reflected era's beauty standards, requiring highly styled, voluminous hair that appeared effortless but demanded significant time and discomfort to achieve. Electric rollers eventually offered heated alternatives that set hair more quickly, without overnight wearing, though many women maintained traditional methods initially. As hairstyles evolved toward more natural looks, improved hair products enabled easier styling, and blow dryers allowed quick manipulation. The overnight curler routine largely disappeared, eliminating this uncomfortable but once essential beauty practice that shaped how women looked and felt, freeing them from nightly rituals that previous generations considered absolutely necessary for respectable appearance. 96. Neighborhood watch without technology. Neighborhood watch without technology protected communities for over 40 years through personal vigilance, familiarity, and social connections rather than cameras, apps, or electronic monitoring systems. Neighbors knew each other well, recognizing residents, regular visitors, and typical daily patterns, making strangers or unusual activities immediately noticeable and worth investigating. Stay-at-home mothers particularly maintained informal surveillance, observing streets throughout days while performing household tasks near windows, noticing children's activities and unusual occurrences. The strong social connections meant neighbors felt comfortable approaching each other about concerns, checking on elderly residents, and coordinating responses to suspicious activities. Front porches served as observation posts where residents spent summer evenings, naturally monitoring streets while socializing and relaxing in cooler outdoor air. Children played freely under this collective supervision, with multiple adults watching general neighborhood activities and intervening when necessary without formal coordination. The informal systems worked because community stability meant most residents lived in homes for decades, developing relationships and shared investment in neighborhood safety and character. Strangers stood out obviously in communities where everyone knew everyone else, creating natural security through familiarity rather than technological surveillance. The approach required time investment and presence that worked when household structures included stay-at-home adults with time and inclination to maintain community awareness. Response to problems involved direct confrontation or personal contact with police officers who often knew neighborhoods and residents personally. As both parents entered workforces, residential mobility increased, and people spent less time in front yards and porches. This informal neighborhood watch diminished significantly, replaced by formal organizations, electronic systems, and greater privacy that eliminated the natural surveillance and community cohesion that once protected neighborhoods effectively through human presence and social connection rather than technological monitoring. 97. Playing marbles and jacks on the porch. Playing marbles and jacks on porches and sidewalks entertained children for over 50 years, with simple games requiring minimal equipment but significant skill developed through patient practice. Marble games involved shooting glass or clay spheres toward targets or into circles drawn with chalk, with various regional rule variations creating rich game cultures. Children collected marbles avidly, prizing particular colors, sizes, and rarities, with some games played for keeps, where winners claimed opponents' marbles, raising stakes considerably. The games taught geometry, physics, and strategic thinking, as players calculated angles, force, and positioning to optimize shots while anticipating opponents' potential responses. Jacks required bouncing small rubber balls while picking up six-pointed metal jacks in increasingly difficult sequences, developing hand-eye coordination and fine motor control. Both games provided outdoor entertainment, requiring no electricity, batteries, or adult supervision, allowing children to develop independence and social skills through self-organized play. The hard surfaces of porches and sidewalks proved ideal for these games, creating natural gathering spaces where neighborhood children met regularly without formal organization. Spectators gathered during particularly competitive matches, with successful players gaining neighborhood recognition and respect for demonstrated skills. The game's simplicity allowed children of various ages to participate together, with older kids mentoring younger ones while maintaining their own competitive matches. The portable nature meant children carried small bags of marbles or jacks, ready to initiate games whenever and wherever appropriate surfaces and willing players appeared. As organized sports, electronic entertainment, and supervised activities increasingly structured children's time, these informal street games declined dramatically, with many modern children never learning rules or developing skills, eliminating self-directed play traditions and the associated independence, creativity, and social negotiation that once characterized childhood and taught valuable skills through simple games requiring nothing but basic equipment and willing participants on any flat, hard surface. 98. Sunday drives with no destination. Sunday drives with no destination provided family recreation for approximately 30 years, when automobile ownership represented novelty and freedom rather than mere transportation necessity. Families dressed in Sunday best after church services, piling into cars for leisurely drives through countryside, neighboring towns, or scenic areas without particular goals beyond enjoyment and together time. The drives allowed appreciation of changing seasons, regional scenery, and areas beyond daily routines, creating shared experiences and conversation opportunities without home distractions. Parents pointed out interesting sights, autumn foliage, spring flowers, architectural features, historical markers, providing informal education while building family memories. The pace remained deliberately slow, with drivers maintaining speeds allowing scenery appreciation and spontaneous stopping for particularly appealing views or roadside attractions. Children sometimes complained of boredom, but generally accepted these outings as pleasant family obligations that occasionally included treats like ice cream cones or picnic stops. The drives demonstrated gasoline's relative affordability and leisure time's availability, with Sunday afternoons considered appropriate for unproductive enjoyment rather than constant activity or achievement. Minimal traffic in suburban and rural areas made driving itself pleasant rather than stressful, with roads offering exploration opportunities rather than merely connecting specific destinations. Families often developed favorite routes that they repeated seasonally, noting changes and familiar landmarks that became shared reference points. The aimless nature represented significant cultural departure from utilitarian thinking, demonstrating that activities need not produce measurable outcomes to provide value and enrichment. As gasoline prices increased, both parents worked weekends, organized activities filled children's schedules, and the novelty of driving faded into routine necessity. These purposeless Sunday drives largely disappeared, eliminating shared family time and the slower pace that once allowed appreciation of surroundings. and each other without needing destinations, schedules, or productive purposes beyond being together. 99. Waiting for the newspaper's comics section. Waiting for the newspaper's comics section provided weekly anticipation for approximately 40 years, when Sunday papers represented substantial entertainment and information sources. The colorful comics printed in full color, unlike weekday black and white strips, appeared exclusively in Sunday editions, creating special weekly treats that children particularly anticipated. Families established pecking orders for section distribution, with comics often claimed immediately by children who sprawled on living room floors reading favorite strips. The multi-panel format allowed more complex storytelling than daily strips, with some comics featuring continuing adventures that readers followed weekly. Popular strips generated significant cultural impact, with characters and catchphrases entering common usage and story developments discussed throughout following weeks. The substantial Sunday papers included numerous sections: news, sports, magazine supplements, classified ads, comics, providing hours of reading material for entire families. Many families maintained rituals around Sunday paper delivery, with early risers retrieving papers from driveways or porches and distributing sections according to family members' preferences. The comics section's substantial size and color printing made it feel special compared to weekday offerings, elevating Sunday mornings beyond routine starts. Children developed favorite strips they followed religiously, with some learning to read partially through regular comic exposure. The shared experience of reading comics created family conversations and inside jokes referencing particular strips or character developments. As newspapers declined, digital news sources proliferated, and entertainment options multiplied exponentially. The Sunday comics section lost its cultural centrality, with many papers reducing comics content or eliminating sections entirely, ending the weekly ritual and shared experience that once united families around colorful newsprint pages spread across breakfast tables and living room floors every Sunday morning. 100. Sleeping with the windows open and no AC. Sleeping with windows open and no air conditioning characterized summer nights for over 40 years, when residential climate control remained luxury rather than standard expectation. Families developed elaborate cooling strategies, opening windows to encourage cross breezes, using electric fans strategically, dampening sheets, and sometimes sleeping on porches or in basements, seeking relief from oppressive heat. The open windows created soundscapes of crickets, distant trains, neighbors' conversations, and occasional traffic that became summer's natural white noise. The practice reflected different expectations about comfort, with people accepting seasonal temperature variations as natural rather than problems requiring technological solutions. Light cotton sheets, minimal clothing, and strategic positioning near windows represented typical adaptations to heat that everyone understood and practiced. The open windows created informal neighborhood awareness, with sounds carrying between houses and people naturally monitoring each other's nighttime activities through audio cues. Some particularly hot nights proved nearly impossible for sleeping, with families gathering on porches or taking cool baths, attempting relief from relentless heat. Children sometimes slept in yards under trees or on screened porches, treating uncomfortable situations as adventures rather than crises. The practice required trust in neighborhood safety, with unlocked and open windows representing vulnerability that communities generally respected and protected. Morning routines included closing windows before heat built, drawing shades, and attempting to preserve nighttime coolness throughout coming days. As air conditioning became affordable and eventually expected, sleeping with open windows declined dramatically, particularly in urban areas where noise and security concerns made the practice less appealing, fundamentally changing summer experiences and eliminating the intimate connection with outdoor environments, seasonal rhythms, and neighborhood sounds that once characterized warm weather sleeping. Replacing these natural adaptations with climate-controlled isolation that increased comfort while reducing the sensory richness and community awareness that open windows once provided nightly throughout warmer months when people accepted heat as inevitable summer condition rather than problem requiring immediate technological solution.